I've just been spending so much silly time on social media, and it doesn't make my brain feel good, and it doesn't make me feel good. It's a total of 7 hours and 31 minutes on my phone. Disgusting. To replace my social media screen time on my phone with reading for this week. I'm scared to do this challenge, but I really think it's going to be worth it. It's also lining up concurrently with a social media cleanse that I'm doing just for like mental health reasons. I have been spending way too much time on my phone. I've had some really bad mental days lately as well, in full transparency, so I think it's going to be a welcome change to try to reprogram my brain to reach towards my book instead of reaching for my phone when I just want some stare into the void, mindless checkout of the real world time. I'm trying to refocus on my monthly TBR. I am playing, this is my first month where I'm doing my TBR game, which is called Roll for Reads. I will leave the video here and link down below if you would like to check it out. I need to read for my little D&D character. It's a D&D inspired TBR game. And I need some experience points. We're starting on level 0, so I need to level up my little character named Thebus, who is a rogue and is my life and soul. I would die for Thebus, and so we need to rack up some points. Books that are on my September TBR that I'm hoping to get to this week. We have the 3rd book in the Zodiac Academy series. This is The Reckoning by Caroline Peckham and Suzanne Valenti. I'm very excited for this. Since I put down book 2, like finished book 2 and give it 5 stars, I have not stopped thinking about this series. So I'm really excited to get back into it. Even though this book is on the longer side, they read so fast. Like, I'm not even gonna look at the fact that this is 633 pages. What are you talking about? Another book that is on my TBR is Lucy Undying by Kirsten White. It's about Lucy, who is one of Dracula's first victims. It's less horror, at least from the summary, and it feels like it's more of a gothic fantasy. It does say that it's epic and seductive, but it's also about a woman who believed she would never love again, and she finds herself compelled to the charming Iris, while Iris is equally mesmerized by the confident and glamorous Lucy. They have an intense connection. It's sapphic vampires, which I love, but also it feels like it's Lucy's opportunity to really learn about herself, considering she was a tragically murdered teen, a lonesome adventurer, a fearsome hunter. Happiness has always eluded her, so I feel like this is going to be our main character's journey to happiness. This is the biggest question mark. I need to read it, and so it's on my pile of possibilities, but I feel like it might be a little bit slower paced, and the mood reader in me really wants some like fast, fun options. I also have Dark Fae on this list. I'm doing the reading order where you read the first 3 of the Zodiac Academy series and then you switch to the Ruthless Boys of the Zodiac series, but that book is long too. So I think to start off this vlog, we are going to allow ourselves one chaotic read, one book that's not on our September TBR, and that is Eternal Captive by Elle May. This is a dark vampire romance, and it's by Elle May, who writes the spiciest, most fast-paced, fun Kindle Unlimited books. So let's look at how long we need to read for today. I'm specifically trying to replace my social media screen time, so there's going to be an overall total that's actually alarming and really scary. So last week, last Monday was September 8th, and I spent a total of 7 hours and 31 minutes on my phone. Disgusting. It's so bad. And my social media usage was 4 hours and 44 minutes. That's quite hefty, but I will say I started off this morning at 8:30 doing reading sprints for the Readathon Rebellion. Let me look at how long we were on sprints for. I actually finished a book today, which I'm really proud of myself. I was reading Arcana Academy for literally 7 days, which is a long time for me. We finished it today, just in time for our Libby hold to be returned to the library. I had 18 minutes left on that Libby hold. Anyways, we already read today for 2 hours and 42 minutes on reading sprints. So let's see how long we have left. 2 hours and 2 minutes that we need to read for the remainder of the day. Let's get into Eternal Captive, and once I've read a good bit of it, I will do my first update. It's the way I read the prologue for this book and immediately said, I'm taking my lunch break from work, I'm gonna go get comfy, and I'm going to absolutely dig in to this, and I'm so excited. Update for today, probably my final update. We have an hour and 1 minute left to read for the night, so it is 8:46. I'm about to lock in. It's pretty simple, it's pretty straightforward. It's Elle May, so you know that we're here for the romance, and that's pretty much it. It's also going to be fast, not like a ton of really fleshed out plot, and we have sapphic vampires. One of them is a vampire. She is a cruel vampire princess. Her backstory is actually really sad. She had a close relationship with her mom. Her mother dies / gets murdered right in front of her, and her father is just a very cruel person who like tortures her, demeans her, is not great. Then we have a cold hunter. This hunter is a prophecy that she has been pretty much training her whole life to fulfill, and this prophecy foretells our hunter killing our vampire princess. But immediately when they see each other, there's a connection. The hunter's name is Vesper. She like infiltrates the vampire castle as an undercover guard / basically human blood bag. Like, these human guards are really just like feeding sources for the vampires. They also aren't treated very nicely. But the moment that Aurelia lays eyes on Vesper, she is captivated by this human with silver hair, and I'm here for it. I want to see what happens next. I'll check in the morning, and then we'll see how long we have to read for tomorrow. Hello Pookies, it's time for us to sit down and see how much we're reading today. So if we look at last Tuesday, September 9th, I was on my phone for a total of 6 hours and 3 minutes, and our social media usage was 3 hours and 47 minutes. 3 hours. If I had a better memory, I would just do like the stopwatch up to 3 hours and 47 minutes, but I know myself and I know that I'm not gonna remember what it is. So that's why I do the little countdown timer. So we have, I just started it for 1 second. So 3 hours, 46 minutes, 59 seconds on the clock. And I wanted to do just a quick update on Eternal Captive. Yesterday we read quite a bit of this, like 166 pages, not bad. These two have chemistry that just jumps off the page. It is a very fast burn, but we kind of knew that going in considering the page length of this book. Their spicy scenes are so iconic. Also, the life of a vampire in this world is wild. She takes one of her personal guards to the epitome of a vampire castle. Picture like Dracula's castle in your head, if you will. Vines climbing up the outside, the full moon is overhead and it's cloudy, so the moon is just peeking through, and they enter. There's people having sex everywhere as soon as they walk in. And there's red everything, red carpets, lush, elegant decor everywhere, dark red velvet drapes, and they go to where the king of this specific vampire clan is, his like throne room, and they just decide to get it on in there in front of other people. And I was like, Elle May, this is why I'm here for your books. This is why I'm here, and you know that. Mission accomplished, A to B. We've done it. And then Vesper starts to try to actually fulfill her prophecy, which is killing our vampire princess. after canoodling with her. And I am just screaming at the top of my lungs. I have a couple highlights that are not anything crazy. Vesper, she growled and pushed me away. The desire was clear in her eyes, but so was the distaste. You call me Vesper, not Little Mouse. Aurelia, I murmured, but you can call me Princess. Like, their attitude towards each other is everything. It would have been better had she treated me like the piece of meat she thought I was. It would have made it easier to hate her and not fall victim to the way her venom made my body feel. Vampires have venom in this that does what typical vampire venom does in a dark fantasy romance, so we're obsessed with it. I have also never been so turned on by an assassination attempt, she whispered against my skin. I guess the same could probably be said for you. That scene was iconic. The initial assassination attempt, I was applauding. I was giving full standing ovation round of applause. The hair of a reader, if you were wondering, in her ultimate comfy state. We have 2 hours, 11 minutes, and 52 seconds left to read today, but I wanted to pause for an update finishing Eternal Captive. I definitely skimmed towards the end of that book, which was a little sad. I think that the other books I've read from Elle May I enjoyed a little more because they were a lot shorter. She doesn't write for plot, and then because this book was 330 pages, towards the second half we started to get more plot of this arranged marriage for Aurelia. I can never remember Princess Vampire's name, and I don't know why. Yes, we started to get more of the arranged marriage for Aurelia, and I just like wasn't interested. The plot wasn't super strong in this one, and also I feel like a world of vampires doesn't have to be very fleshed out, and it had other magical beings, mostly witches, like witches versus vampires, and then humans are sort of subservient to like both of them. Not entirely, it's not like they're servants, but they do get hired and used as feeders for vampires and things like that. So like humans definitely aren't in the power game between witches and vampires, but it just felt like it was doing a lot, and it didn't need to do as much as it was for a 330 page book, if you know what I mean. I liked the first half of this book a bit more because that's when we were getting all of the fun build up and tension, and it wasn't focusing on like random plot that I didn't really care about. So unfortunately, I'm debating giving it like a 3-star, but I think I'm leaning more towards a 2.5. I might sit on my thoughts a little bit to decide, but I think it will be a 2.5. I'm hopeful for Lucy Undying because I know that the writing in this is just going to be better than like a spicy Kindle Unlimited sapphic vampire book, you know what I mean? So I know that the writing will be really stunning with this, but we are going to stick with the plan and do Zodiac Academy The Reckoning next, which I'm very excited about. The last book ended on a cliffhanger. This is my first time reading Zodiac Academy series. I will leave the vlog where I read the first 2 linked down below. It was my Reading Until We Find a 5-Star vlog, and I just had the best time with the first 2 books in the series, so I'm so excited. The last book ended with kind of this big battle playing out. We had some big discoveries about our 2 twin main characters, and the books are starting to get a little bit more spicy. The first book was all bullying and tension building and establishing character dynamics. The second book is where we started to get a lot more fun, a little bit of spicy things happening with our characters, and now I'm just so excited for a silly goofy fun time in this book. The second book was so silly goofy. Like, some of the things that were happening were just, it was like the prank war book. So I'm wondering if we'll get more like serious plot scenes in The Reckoning. happy Wednesday. I really have not meant intentionally to sit in front of the shelves on every new day, but I just find myself in my library office quite often just staring at them. So I'm like, okay, let's just do it here. We are now on to Wednesday. We've hit both of our targets for the past 2 days. I was really nervous at first coming into this challenge that we weren't going to be able to do it because I know that I had some hefty social media days. We've been crushing it, and also reading has been so fun. We last night got to, did I update this? Actually, we made it to chapter 12 in The Reckoning. Stunning. I'm also using, this is an old bookmark that I haven't used in so long, and I found it and I was like, heck yes, I'm using that. That fits so well with Zodiac Academy. I feel like I'm no thoughts had empty about this right now because I'm just having the best time. 200 pages felt like reading 50 pages. The tension between the Vega twins and all of the heirs in this it's so good in this one. Because now we're starting to move a little bit away from like bullying and being mean. It's still somewhat present there, and I am not letting all my defenses down at this point in time. I feel like we're softening up, we're getting a little bit closer, but it's gonna go back to the craziness and the fighting, for lack of a better word, pretty soon. Like, I just can't imagine that it's not going to get there, but the heirs are really softening up to our twins, which I absolutely love. I plan to read more of this today. I'm very excited to get back to it. I am actually going to pick up the audiobook for Lucy Undying as well. I don't have an audiobook going right now, and I just finished a podcast. I finished season 1 of a podcast that I have been obsessed with. It's what got me into D&D this year. I started listening to the podcast Dungeons and Daddies. I finished season 1 and I'm like devastated. I've heard that season 1 is many people's favorite season. They do have other seasons after that, but I've heard like some mixed things. I feel like I need to jump back into listening to audiobooks for a while before I'm able to like move on. We also do have Critical Role starting a new campaign October 3rd, I believe, that I'm very excited for, and I'm going to be listening to that too. Work is sort of busy today. I think that I will do better with our reading target if I am able to listen to an audiobook. So that is the intention. Let's look at how much we need to read today. So last Wednesday was September 10th. We spent 5 hours and 9 minutes on our phone, which is better than the prior 2 days that we've looked at of this data. And I was on social media for 3 hours and 21 minutes. There she is. I'm gonna get this audiobook. I think that's where we're gonna start. So I will give an update and the summary for Lucy Undying once I have read a little bit of this. So the unfortunate news is that it's currently 8:33 and we have only read like 20 minutes of our time for today. We still have 3 hours and 2 minutes left to read. I tried to listen to a little bit of the audiobook for Lucy Undying. I listened to 3%, 31 minutes, but my brain just was not understanding what was going on. We are jumping between 2 timelines and we're jumping between 2 different characters. That was pretty much all I got from it, to be honest, but I don't think it was the book's fault. I think my work was really worky today, and that's the reason why I didn't get reading done today, where I thought I would be able to like listen to the audiobook a little bit more. I did also edit a video today, so there's that as well. But that means we have 3 hours to read, which is fine. If I just start reading now, I'll still be able to go to bed by like my usual bedtime actually. And I think we're just gonna focus on Zodiac Academy. Something about this easy writing, like this is just such a fluffy writing style. It's just very chronically readable. And I think that's what I need right now. I'm actually a big liar pants, and I ended up re-listening to what I had already listened to in Lucy Undying, and I listened to a little bit more of it. So now we are 10% of the way through the book. I realized that by the time this video goes up, the announcement would have gone up. I needed to finish drawing some stuff for the October version of the TBR game, Roll for Reads, and I have some new, can you even see this? I have some new journal thingies coming out that I had to finish drawing, so I made them in a couple different colorways. That is that I have to film the announcement for this tomorrow, and I like to have everything like done and set up for that obviously before I film the video. So I was like, actually let me listen to Lucy Undying and get these completed. So now that those are done, I am going to switch to Zodiac Academy. Thoughts so far on Lucy Undying, I don't know if I'm vibing with the audiobook. I'm not sure if I read it physically, if I will, I don't know, vibe with it better. I just feel like the tone of the narrator who's reading it is making these characters, well, one of them, Lucy in particular, this like vampire girl that we're following, she's reading her as though she's a very bubbly, lighthearted spirit. And maybe it's because when Lucy first gets turned, we don't really know what's going on. It jumps between different time periods in Lucy's life because Lucy is like reminiscing on some of her human life to set things up, and then immediately we jump to her vampire life. When she first got turned, she didn't remember what happened to her. Like, she didn't remember who she was at all. She didn't even remember her name until she ran into people that knew her before she died and was turned. And we have a separate character that we're following, a different girl who's in present time, like 2024, and we get to figure out what's going on with her. She's in London settling some of her mother's affairs, and she just got to this creepy house called the Wolf House. When she got dropped off, the cab driver was like, I wouldn't go in there. And she was like, why? And he was like, I've never had a flat that felt, just from looking at it, like it was gonna eat me alive. And she goes up to the door and she goes inside, and now she's exploring this house. I'm gonna stick with it. I mean, I'm not one to DNF things too early, so I would like to make it to at least the 30% mark before I figure things out, but I would say right off the bat, I'm not super vibing with this book. An hour and 44 minutes means I will be able to go to bed by 11:38 p.m. But the good thing about today, even though I have a lot of my reading left to do right before bed, I was not scrolling on my phone. Like, that wasn't the cause of me having to push back my reading. It really was just that work was crazy. I needed to get a video edited for today, and that's what took up my time. So I'm not reverting to old habits. I've also found that I'm reaching for my phone a lot less. If my phone is in the other room, it doesn't bother me. Like, it takes me a little while to notice, actually. Hello friends, we did hit our reading goal yesterday in the nick of time, but I did stay up late to complete it. I was hoping today would be a little bit easier because I do have a busy work day today with a couple of really long calls. I have a 2-hour call right at the beginning of my day. Why? And I have to film a really exciting video today. I'm filming the October TBR game announcement, and I would like to edit that and stuff like that. So a really busy day today. I was hoping we would have some reprieve from a long reading day, but apparently last Thursday I could not get off my phone to save my dang life. So last Thursday I was on my phone for a total of 6 hours and 54 minutes. 4 hours and 37 minutes of that was on social media. I'm glad that I'm doing this challenge after I read that. So we have our work cut out for us. I did start the timer today at 4 hours and 37 minutes, but I've been reading a little bit. I'm trying to knock this down as much as possible. If I could do like 2 hours and 37 minutes during the day today and then do like 2 hours before bed, I think that that will work pretty well. So we have 4 hours and 2 minutes left. I've been reading for about 35 minutes. I wanted to give a little bit of an update on The Reckoning. I think that this is my favorite book so far. Last night I was silent screaming to myself. I was kicking my feet in bed, and my husband sleeping next to me was like, what are you doing? And I was like, I can't. The moments that we've had with Lance in this, literally shut up right now. It's no surprise that this vampire man has me in such a chokehold, but I am so obsessed with him and Darcy. Like, so freaking obsessed. I really also love Caleb. I love them both so much. I think that vampires in this fae world are probably my favorite. And there's no surprise there. But I also really like Darius in this. I don't forgive him for everything that he put our girls through. However, the motorcycle scene that we had with him and Tori, I can't like stop smiling about it. Every time I think about it, it's so freaking fun. Like, I love Darius and Tori together. Their hate, but like their banter and just their dialogue when they're not like at each other's throats, even when they are at each other's throats, oh my gosh, I'm just so obsessed. I love the moments that we're getting between our girls and our men in this book particularly. So last night we made it to chapter 16. We're on page 295, so we're almost halfway, and with all of the reading that we need to get done today, hopefully we can get a good chunk of this done. I am gonna have to rely on that audiobook for Lucy Undying because there's no way I'd be able to physically read for 4 hours and 37 minutes today. So even though it's not my favorite, I do want to stick with it for a little while longer. I've only listened to another like 3% when I took Mr. Jameson OUT today. With my TBR game, I'm trying to get to at least 50% in a book before I decide to DNF it, and that way I can still count it for the prompt that I'm reading it for. Lucy Undying is on my TBR game. I'm pretty sure it counts for like a pretty good prompt. I'm hoping we get more depth to our characters. The present day character Iris I like a little bit more. She just got to London and she's exploring this house that was left in her family. Her mom passed away and she's settling her estates, and they have this random like big mansion in London. That's the most intriguing part to me, but we've been spending a lot more time with Lucy, and Lucy is like recounting her life and her memories to, we don't know who, like a journalist or maybe like a psychologist or something like that. We don't get any feedback from the person who is like interviewing her, which is throwing me off. I'm like, who are we talking to here? But we just get Lucy like telling her stories, and so we're flipping between her in the present, like recounting these stories, and flipping to 1870 because she is one of Dracula's brides. But I think what's not working for me about Lucy right now is that she has a really bubbly personality, which is like confusing, but I think that her outlook on life has been very bubbly and more on the positive side, but now that she's been through so much, I think it's kind of twisted her in a way, and she's more, I don't know, evil, I can't say that quite yet, but like maybe a little bit more questionable. Hello friends, it is 8:45. I'm done with work. I'm done editing. I got everything done that I needed to today, and we did read essentially what I wanted to for the daytime. We have 2 hours and 9 minutes left of reading to do for the day. I have been thinking about this all day. I cannot wait to jump back into this book. That's what keeps happening to me with all of the Zodiac Academy books. Whenever I start reading it, if anything gets in the way, like work, of me reading this book, it makes me so upset. I'm like, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do anything but just, oh my gosh, bestie, you fell over. I don't want to be here. I just want to go and read my book. It's getting in the way. The majority of our reading today, of the 4 hours and 37 minutes, has been of Lucy Undying. I don't know if I want to continue this. Like, I'm so mixed. I almost didn't do an update quite yet because I'm not sure, but I'm not into it. Like, I'm really struggling with it. I think what is irking me is that I thought this was going to be a gothic read. It has to do with Dracula's brides. It's reading so contemporary that it's like really throwing me off. And the parts of characters that I really enjoy reading about, like I would have liked to have read about Lucy's death, and we get told bits and pieces of it, but also I don't like to be told things. I like to experience it and go through it with the characters. This feels like we're just being told everything that happens. We're not actively experiencing it. And I feel like this author went for a similar narrative style to like an Empire of the Vampire, where it's switching back and forth between past and present, and we are being like told the story, but I don't think it's executed well. So I don't have to read this book. Like, there's no reason why I like absolutely have to. I might try to stick it out to the 50% mark, but I don't have a desire to pick it back up. Like, maybe if you twisted my arm, but also like, why would you be twisting my arm, you know? And I could just sub out this book for a different one to fulfill that prompt for my like TBR game. The one thing that's holding me back is I want to get to the romance of this. I want to get to Iris and Lucy's romance, because the writing is on the wall. Like, nothing is, it's not a surprise what's being set up. And that's the other thing that I'm kind of like, this is so obvious. There are things being set up and I'm like, maybe once we get to the romance it'll capture me, but if I'm feeling this way right now about these characters, I don't think that a romance between them is going to like get me more into it. Hello besties, welcome to the car. This is my Friday check-in. I am about to go get a tattoo today, which I'm very excited about. And I cannot actually believe that we read for 4 hours and 37 minutes yesterday, but we did accomplish our goal. I finished it out reading The Reckoning, and I'm still having a wonderful time. We did get to a major turning point though last night. We have been kind of just happy and chilling and having nice moments with all of the boys so far in this book, which was weird. Like, that was weird compared to the last 2 books. And now we've kind of hit like a major turning point because the boys learned something. And that's all I'll say. But now I'm stressed. I'm very stressed for the second half of this book. I was having fun with all of the nice moments, and now it's gonna go back to not nice moments, I think. So I did bring my Kindle with me to this tattoo appointment. I usually do read a little bit, but I also like to talk to my tattoo artist. So let's look at how long we have to read for today, which is Friday. And today is the last day of this reading challenge. This was the day last week where I was crashing out and I deleted TikTok from my phone. So it's a significant difference from Friday. Friday, September 12th. We were on our phone for a total of 3 hours and 53 minutes, but we were on social media for only 54 minutes, which is really good. So we technically only have to read for 54 minutes today. I will probably read more than that. I don't know if I'll be able to finish The Reckoning in this vlog. It says that I have, I think, a little over 3 hours left of the book according to my Kindle. But usually after I get a tattoo, oh my gosh, lighting. But usually after I get a tattoo, I do just like to go home and like lay in bed and chill. So we are gonna read for 54 minutes, but we might be able to finish this today. No promises. Hello Pookies. We did read for our 54 minutes yesterday. I didn't vlog while I was getting tattooed because of obvious reasons. It did take me like 54 minutes to read maybe like 2.5 chapters, because it helps when I'm getting tattooed to like read and have something to focus on, but then I'm also like talking and I pause constantly and whatever. So I didn't have like an official timer set up, but then I did come home and read more as well. So we're at 93% in The Reckoning. I'm going to finish this right now. I just picked up some Starbucks breakfast. Total, we have 41 minutes left in this book. I'm gonna try to finish it before I have to skedaddle to some plans with my friends today. Even though today is Saturday and the challenge was technically Monday through Friday, we achieved the challenge, which is great. Every single day we met our reading goal. But let me just finish this out because I have a feeling it's gonna be a 5-star, and we're right now at this like eclipse party and everyone's emotions are all over the place and I'm so excited. have just finished her and she's so good. This is definitely 5 stars. It was probably my favorite of the series so far. I'm so excited to read book 4. I kind of want to jump into it next because like this cliffhanger is insane. But I said I was going to switch to reading Dark Fae after this one. I don't know, I'm really torn about whether I want to read Dark Fae next or if I want to read Shadow Princess, but oh my gosh, this is so good. And then for this challenge as a whole, I would definitely recommend this challenge. I would do it again if my social media starts to get like out of hand once more. As you could tell, I had some really hefty reading days because I've just been spending so much silly time on social media and it doesn't make my brain feel good and it doesn't make me feel good. So being able to switch and like hold myself accountable to read was really, really fun. Hopefully I can keep things like in control, but if you see me doing a challenge like this again, it means that my social media usage started to skyrocket. Thank you so much for reading with me. If you would try this challenge, please let me know in the comments down below. Also, if you have read Zodiac Academy, can you let me know in the comments what book was your favorite book of the entire series? I'm just curious and I want to know like what to look forward to. No spoilers, but like just let me know which book was your favorite book of the series or like any of the spin-off stuff. I'd be really curious to hear that as well. Thank you so much for watching. I will catch you in my next one very soon and I will see you in the comments. Toodles.